Webcasting from Southeast Kansas, I'm Jonathan Switzer, and this is the Roboblog Chronicles for the week concluding September 22nd, 2007. It is, as I record this, actually September 22nd, so that means 2 days ago, the Roboblog website had its second anniversary at sdf5x.blogspot.com. I was going to do a nice big long post, celebrating that anniversary, but got sidetracked. Anyway, I'm sure there's only a few of you out there who actually even know why it is sdf5x.blogspot.com. That is a reference to my old website. I started up in 1998 and had for a few years there. It was called the SDF5X Conqueror. And so it had this big picture of this SDF battle fortress that I had drawn up, and it had these different worlds, Tyrol, which was my Robotech section, Cybertron, which is a Transformers section, and some other spots that I don't remember off the top of my head. It's one of those things I just like to keep buried in the past, for the most part. And what I don't particularly, mind drudging up is the story attached to it. Originally, it was designed for a proposal I very poorly wrote up for Antarctic Press, because in 1998, Antarctic Press published their Robotech Annual. I think it was in March of '98. I think that was to celebrate their first anniversary of having the Robotech comic book license. And it had a story from the Macross era, it had a story from the Masters era, and it had a story from the New Generation era, by different teams of writers and artists. And in the back, they had a picture of Captain Glowful pointing, we want you to send in your Robotech comic book proposals. And so, I dutifully did just that, because honestly, I was looking at the Antarctic Robotech line and thinking, I could write a better story. So I wrote up a few story ideas, and one of them was called Robotech Lost Generation, a reference to the McKinney Lost Generation novels, but it was just sort of a cute reference. The actual story was a sort of new fourth generation Robotech story about a bunch of kids on this ship, the SDF-5, which is stuck out in space after all of the crew is killed by a group of rogues and Trotty. And so it's the story of these kids tooling about the universe in the SDF-5, trying to get home while being hounded by these Zentradi forces. And I still think about it every once in a while, and think of the fun, wonderful places you can go with that sort of an idea, but it then morphed along the way into something a little more standard, because we sort of started to attach a storyline to the website, and with a bunch of self-insert characters who over time sort of changed into things not quite resembling the people portraying them, and it got interesting. And a version of that story, a version of the beginning of that story is up at the SDF5X blog, because I started totally rewriting the thing when I was working on Emissaries, and I still have a concluding chapter in the back of my head, and I still plan on writing that one of these days. Anyway, so personal Robotech memories. Speaking of Robotech comics, though, I was on eBay the other day looking up Robotech stuff, and came across this lot of Academy Comics Robotech comic books. And the thing about Academy Comics Robotech comic books is they all had very small print runs. Which means some of them are pretty darn rare at this point. Some of them are pretty hard to come by. Especially stuff towards the very end. Now, a lot of them people don't really want, so you can find those, all over the place. Copies of early Return to Macross, or some of the Worlds of Robotech, specials, the books that are all about the different worlds of the Sentinels. Nobody really cares about that. To some extent, the Destroyed specials are, especially the first one's kind of easy to come by. Mostly it's a lot of Return to Macross. That's pretty easy to come by. Return to Macross is a book that, it's Roy Fokker. We like Roy Fokker. Most people like Roy Fokker. But the thing is, the stories are basically Roy Fokker running around on Macross Island fighting terrorists and, flying around in his Veritech when the Veritech's still supposed to be classified top secret. Doesn't he say those exact words in Countdown? I think he does, but oh well. It's kind of fun. But a lot of people don't want it, because it doesn't feel like it counts. It doesn't feel like it matters. Sentinels, though. Ooh, some issues of Sentinels are hard to come by. Now this lot starts with Robotech 2 The Sentinels, Book 4, Number 0, and ends with Robotech 2 The Sentinels, Book 4, Number 12. 14 books total, because that also includes the Halloween special. The Halloween special fits smack dab between, I think it's issues 10 and 11. It could be 11 and 12. I don't remember. So it's 14 books. $350. Somebody is making $350 off of 14 comic books that ordinarily you find in the 50-cent bin. Because most people don't realize the demand for, some of that really, really late stuff. Now, I wonder how much they would be getting if it also included issue 13. How much would that be worth? I'm curious. I wonder. But I'm not so curious that I'd part with my copies of all that stuff. I like having my copies of all that stuff. But of course, what is the familiar refrain I'm going to trot on out at this point? Boy, somebody could be making some money if they'd reprint some of that stuff, I think. Yeah, I'm going to say it until I get my stupid Sentinels reprints. I really am. I'm going to be saying this until I'm a very, very old man, too, because nobody's really going to be interested in doing that. Maybe around the time the movie comes out. Maybe. IDW, the company that publishes Transformers comics, they're reprinting all kinds of stuff at this point in a variety of forms. They consistently keep on reprinting stories from the Marvel Comics Marvel UK back catalog in new, comic book editions with, brand new covers. And, they've put stuff in, collections of, the best of Simon Furman's Transformers comics work, the best of Don Figueroa's Transformers comics work. They've reprinted all these Dreamwave comics, trade paperback collections. So, there's a company that is willing to dig into the back catalog of their license and pull this stuff out. And I wonder if around the time the Robotech movie comes out, DC will actually get up and start really doing that. They tried it earlier, but it just didn't work out for them because they were reprinting the TV adaptation stuff, which nobody really wants. Anyway, so that's our show for this week, and hopefully the next show will be earlier in next week. This is Captain JLS signing off.